Good evening again, and welcome to my Lutheran Connections. Today is the 1st of January, and it happens to be on a Sunday where we have our regular conversation. We want to start off by saying a happy, prosperous New Year to everyone. We want to wish everyone a happy New Year. Today with us, we have, thank God, our ambassador there joining us from Freetown, Sierra Leone, our dear brother Batam Ibel Lewali. He's joining us from our studios there in Monrovia. Our sister couple Sule might be joining us from the Lutheran camp of KP somewhere in rural Liberia. And also our brother Josiah Jokai will be joining us from Dansbury, Connecticut. And our only Reverend on set will be joining us from our studios there in Columbus, Ohio. But howbeit, we are all excited like everyone is. We are excited for this brand new year. Ambassador, happy new year. How are you doing? How's the family?
Hey, my brother Willie.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I want to thank God that we're able to make the crossover.
Yes.
2022 had a lot of ups and a lot of downs. Some people say the vicissitude of life. But we thank God that today we are able to see 2023 in good health. And it looks like it's going to be very firing. And the prosperity is in sight. We cannot lose sight of that in our individual lives as well as the life of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. I want to say thank you so much for all of the hard work behind the scene in 2022. And I know 2023 is going to be a very wonderful year beginning. Josiah, welcome. And Abel also, I want to say welcome.
Yes, absolutely. It's been an amazing year, and we all pray for a more prosperous year to come, this 2023. But Joker, you're just joining us, and it's a little bit strange today. You are in short sleeves. How are you doing there in Dansbury? I see you are in short sleeves.
Thank you, guys.
This winter time, you are in short sleeves. What's going on?
Thank you, guys. I think global warming is real. We have not had the kind of snow we anticipated. We did not have a white Christmas. Strange. And here we don't have snow on the ground, and the temperature today is in the 50s. Quite strange, yeah. So, but I mean, we are okay. We thank God that we're able to cross over into 2023. Looking forward to a fruitful and a successful year. I want to wish all of you guys, a happy new year, a healthy new year. And our audience, we also want to wish them, happy, healthier, and prosperous new year.
Yes, absolutely. But while we are talking about the new year, we cannot forget about the past 2022. We had a wonderful year. We had great guests appearing uh, um, on our media outlet, and we had some wonderful interviews. Brother Jokai, do you want to start off with what we got outlined for today?
Oh, absolutely. As usual, it is a pleasure to in audience. We are here. We are back, stronger than ever before. We look forward to a fiery 2023. That's for you. But for today's discussion, we are looking at 2022, looking back at the things we did last year in terms of the kind of today, so we'll be looking at the election year, elections committee. We will also look at the general secretary selection process for the LCL. As you all know, it was highly contentious, and we also had a round of conversation about the outcome of the process. And we tried to x-ray the process to really see what went wrong, what happened along the line. So we'll talk about that. We'll look at the bishop consecration. That's the installation of the new bishop. Dr. Patmo is now the bishop. He was elected and he was consecrated. And then we have our segment, the Bishop Hour, which is quite significant, very important. The first time in the history of the church, we have the bishop coming on every month to update Lutherans, at home and across the world about happenings in the church in terms of the activities of the leadership. That's bringing leadership to the people. So we just want to look back a little bit to see how that played out, our Bishop Hour segment with our Lord Bishop. And then the new leadership instituted a committee, a asset and verification committee. We actually talk about that a lot. Lutherans across both in Liberia and the diaspora, they highly call for an asset and verification process to be able to know where we are, to take stock of where we are, so that we are able to set the stage for where we want to go and how we want to get there. We'll look at that. Also, we were able to. The leadership was able to uncover some financial malpractices in the church as well, and how that played out by then. We will take a look at that as well. And then we talked to the Education and Scholarships Committee chairperson, Reverend Eric Doe. Also, we'll take a look at that. So we have a lot in store for you. Today, we want to start by going to the ambassador, just to hear a little bit from the ambassador. How is Freetown, ambassador, and how's the new year going? We are hours into the new year now. In fact, you are an entire day into the new year. I think you are the only person on this platform who has gone, almost an entire day into the new year. So talk to us about that a little bit, ambassador.
Thank you so much, and I want to say that I'm very excited, and I have come with a renewed enthusiasm on this platform. And we can assure our viewers that this time around in 2023, we are going to make a lot of significant improvement into most of our presentation, as well as our style of viewing. But as it relates to the issue of the new year, I want to say that it was quiet for me and my family. We were able to spend the watch night at the church, and then came home, and then overslept a bit and went late to church today. But service was very nice, and the streets were quiet, and everybody was so confined, into their various locale, and there was not much of noise. And then we came home and ate our little, chicken rice and gravy, and give glory to God.
Oh, chicken rice and gravy.
Yeah, give glory to God, at least for the sumptuous meal, and for all of what He has provided for us, especially helping us to cross over into 2023. And we are hoping for a very, very prosperous, new year. And I want to believe, Sire, that you, as a family man, that I know you are very, very particular about ensuring that your family is intact. I would like to also hear a little from you. And we.
First, Jerry, that's very good. Good to know. I mean, you are gracious enough to tell us what you ate and all. Check rice with gravy. That's nice. I got a lot of people around me. That's their favorite. Yeah. For me, I don't go that way because I don't eat anything slippery. Some of my friends usually joke me and say, Josiah, you are in leper. Yeah, but that's good to know. Yeah, we spent it home last night. I had the boys on TV, usually Times Square, They do the New Year's Eve thing, and it can be very huge. So they watched it last night, and they saw the whole year going, and they did the countdown to the new year 2023. They were really excited about that last evening. And every hour I would remind them, we got 1 more hour, we got 2 more hours to go, we got just 1 hour left. And then my 8-year-old said to me, but then Daddy, we got to do something historic. 1 more hour left, only 1 hour in 2002. Let's do something that we can remember. And so that was the crucial part. Everyone of us started running from place to place to come up with something to do that we can remember. We can remember in 2002. That was the biggest episode of the night. Looking for something to do. My 8-year-old, he said, we need to find something to do that we can remember that we did, before the year end. You had 12 months, and everything you did in the 12 months, you don't appreciate those, but just 1 hour left, you want to do something that you can remember. So it was quite interesting. And just as you said, we are glad that we're all able to cross over safely and successfully into 2023. Yeah. So Ambassador and Willie, how you guys doing? Willie, I know you guys travel. You've been driving a lot. You did the last stretch was what? How many hours? 4 hours, 4.5 hours, or 5 hours?
Yeah, 4.5 hours. We started the new year with a father-daughter road trip. We took a road trip from Georgia to Salisbury, North Carolina, to spend the time with family members here in Salisbury. We will be here until tomorrow, and we will be going back to Georgia. So it was a wonderful time on the road. It's been a while. I haven't driven for a long distance, but it was a wonderful experience again this morning. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. You're talking about long drive. When I came to America, Jerry, let me confess, my first long drive was from Danbury to Washington, and I had to drive 5 hours. Jerry, you don't want to imagine how I was sweating up behind my legs. Was sweating.
But before Brother Abel comes, let me just tell you guys. I'm one person. I'm a fair fight, and I must confess it on the platform. And everybody at the office know. They laugh at me, especially when we have a major mission that I had to go on. And if you sat beside me and Abel, or if you sat beside me, you will feel it, because I will squeeze every part of your body until they come on the ground. I was just very, very used to stuff, and at certain point in time, I had a very terrible experience. And my God, I'm still traumatized by that, and I've had to overcome it. I did some counseling, so it's difficult. So in the reverse, I can go 3, 4 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours drive. I mean, it's nothing to me. Wow. Recently, I was in Liberia. I left there and came back. My daughter went. She took half of the road, and I took half of the road. And it's almost like 6 to 7 hours reaching now, because the road is much better. You understand? So I just prefer the road. So some of my colleagues would tell me and say, "I mean, look, I don't know how to sit that long. For me, I just take the flight. They just take me there for all." So we just different our traveling. But I mean, I hope Joe, Abel, if I able some training, really, I understand trauma healing or cancer or something, he needs to try to see if he can help me, because I need to be talked to. I'm still traumatized by that experience. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Abel, I don't know if Abel is ready. Abel, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Joe. But folks, I don't really trust just briefly. I quietly spend my Christmas home. I've been here throughout since the vacation. This is my second week actually being indoor, you can imagine that being Liberia and
Brother Abel Lewe is having some network issues. So um yeah,
Maybe it's having technical
he's having some
issues.
technical issues. Yeah. So Bijo, you want for us to
you
want for us to start running down?
Yeah, let's start rolling this thing. And the first thing was the elections. We had an election euphoria, everybody all over the place, and we talked to the election committee a number of times. Man, do you have anything to roll from the elections committee? At least one of the interviews or something.
We got something from we have something from.
I remember we talked to the election committee chairman, Father Flomoya.
We spoke with Father Flomoya on a number of occasions, and
right.
we have something here that
the chairman for the first time was able to present the timelines, of the election.
Yeah, sure.
And then we discussed them step by step, item by item. And the second time went into details, about the process in terms of the selection process, the candidate selection process, the qualification of the candidates. And then he came back, we talked about it, the entire process, although we had some little glitches. But on the overall, Jerry, I want to think they did well. The elections committee did extremely well because we had an election.
The committee did extremely well. And
a bishop was elected.
I'm going to share this quickly.
Today we have a leadership. We had a transition.
Right. So if you don't mind, I would just play this clip.
Right.
Well, again, I think we basically, you have a point and a strong one, but I'm not the type that want to see taking on choice. We know that we need what it would take to do the work. And as I said, we first and foremost a place to sit. We shall show by tomorrow. We should have that finalized. No matter how the condition of the place, can get a pen there. Once you got chair text, where just will be able to keep documents. That cannot be taken back and forth. That we can have meeting on a regular basis. Without have a key to it and so forth. And the bishop told me that things I thought we got a laptop and we're not talking. We got a computer. We're not talking about they buying brand computer. Just a workable, computer that ain't working computer. Out of clear conscience, I wouldn't want to tell him because as an old, you have no reason to be doubting, what he's saying. On the basis of that, I told her, well, Bishop, if there's no computer, then our personal laptop will use them as the case may be. That cannot store the, if we can get a laptop that should be internally gotten, we can't be talking about the vehicle. Forget. I can what I'm putting for transportation was just
I think Jerry wanted to come in with a follow-up.
Yeah, thank you so much, Josiah, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I said, again, I'll repeat, and
sorry, folks, my device. We're having a technical issue right now. Sorry.
But this is good, really. This is good. Yeah, yeah. I think that brings back a valuable memory. That was the point we were talking about the office space for the elections committee, and the chairman was talking about the challenges that they had. I think our awareness really helped to solve that problem because we spoke about it in a lengthy way. We emphasized it in a way that it attracted the attention of the then leadership to be able to provide the election committee, what they needed to do the job. So, team, yeah, there you have it. Abel.
Yeah, Joe, as I said, my internet is really terrible tonight again.
But you sound good right now.
Okay, but then there's an opportunity. You guys were talking about the Christmas celebrations, right? I was saying I spend my day home, brother. I spend my entire celebration right in my house because I wanted to avoid the street. Times like these, the emotions, the excitement can be overwhelmed, and some people are overwhelmed don't want to keep encountering people, especially in the street side. So mostly celebration like this, I really want to be home, and that's exactly what I did. But though they wanted to fresh me out, but that wasn't really possible because I made up my mind. So that's also part of my resolution crossing over to 2023. I really want to have some focus, some things in place. So I hope I will be able to abide by this. But my daughter and I had a very nice time just bumping into each other and sharing the joke back and forth. And then we ate our cassava leaf rice, I love cassava leaf. I always want to eat. I love with potato grain. So I didn't go for the kind of a conventional. So, gentlemen, it's good to be back on the platform. Happy New Year to all of you.
Hey, same here. Wonderful, Abel. Jerry, you listen to the chairman.
Well, I mean, the very first thing, Josiah, I want to again say thank God for my Lutheran connection. Despite the fact many people appreciate this platform because it's a novelty, and some people also trying to grapple with the reality that some things are already coming out, and based on the initiative of the platform. And one of those was the fact that we're able to allow the leadership then to understand the constraint that the election committee or commission was faced with. And had it not been for the platform, I'm not too sure they would have got the kind of quick, reaction that they sought. And that one of the value, added value or value addition that this entire platform brings into the Lutheran Church in Liberia. And secondly, I really want to commend the chairman and his entire team, because I think under the circumstance, they were able to pull out an election that was free. I don't want to talk much about the fairness. It's subjected to so many analysis, but I think from the level of the church, you could see the unison where going forward, Reverend, I think Zeze was able to say, for the sake of moving the church forward, we don't want to bigger and continue to go second round, third round, to just waste time. So I would just allow Bishop Padmo, to take it. Despite the fact it was a competitive process. But I want to thank the chairman and his entire team, because Josiah, you could see, our brother Moses Cole did extremely well. He was able to screen the entire process, and we all saw that the process went out to the night, and it was very, very, very challenging. And I just want to say kudos to the chairman I just hope this time around that the next process, elections, we might not be able to experience the kind of challenges that they have. But it was a good one. And I want to say thanks to all of us on set that put it out so that at least we could be able to get the commission, to get the equipment and the logistics that they needed to have the elections.
Willie, man, Willie, over to you, man. That's a great insight, Jerry. Willie, over to you, man. I remember we had to do a lot scrambling, going back and forth to make sure that we brought the election commission chair on. Abel there in Liberia was so helpful also in the process.
Right.
Willie.
Yeah. So I mean, it like Ambassador said, we had to go back and forth thanks to our brother on the ground, brother, Lewilly. It doesn't just go over everything. It was a whole lot, but at the end, our goal was achieved to make sure that we brought the elections committee to the parishioners, that they were able to hear from the elections committee as to previous time wherein everyone had to either go on the Lutheran compound to see a post for yourself. But this time around, it was different. Technology had to come in play with all of the veterans. Right. You guys, we all had to put this together and we pulled it off. We have a second, like you mentioned earlier. I don't know if you want for us to go to it right now.
The general secretary, the general secretary selection.
The general secretary selection.
Yeah, that was another secret issue. That was another secret issue.
Was another one.
Yeah, I remember. Jerry, we went back and forth.
Yeah.
We went back and forth on that email. You remember that was a sticker issue,
it took us time to really. It took us time to put this over as well.
Right. Let's hear what we said at that time.
Is it the time that we had the chairman on Koveko?
Yes.
Yes.
Each of us took each of the application and CV and went through it and scored it.
Okay. So my point here is
it would be I'm telling you, Joe, it would be a disrespect to the people if I tell Willie to publish. But let me repeat myself again. If Roger feels strongly that we were biased, right? We didn't do a professional work, we were biased, then we can address it from our point.
I got you. So Rogers, you have a remedy that have been proposed, and I think it still does not negate the fact that you can now come and air, and this is in fact the right platform to come on where we get facts beyond emotions. And Brother Koveko is also good for the committee and yourself in terms of repetition, in terms of credibility, because you are not here to answer to Roger, but you're here to answer on procedures. You understand? And so it was good that you. Sorry. Can I please? Please?
That's quite interesting.
So that is.
That was quite interesting.
You cannot take my microphone from me.
Jerry, I'm not sure.
I said no, I'm in charge.
I forgot about reprimanding you for that. Oh my goodness.
But wait, let me hear your view. Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead.
That was wonderful, and I think that was the part the chairman wanted to maintain his position, that if Roger felt that he was not treated fairly, he should formally take up the issue, following laid down or established procedures. But he couldn't address himself to the questions that were being asked at the time. The chairman was in the hot seat, and that was quite understandable.
With the issue regarding Thomas Kedor, because that's the point that he was focusing on.
Right. And the chairman insisted that Thomas Kedor did not take part in the process, but Thomas Kedor graded his brother. He graded his brother. After all, he graded his brother. And that was the sticky part, very controversial. Abel.
Yeah.
Jerry, I think you should go ahead.
Yeah, you guys are teasing. You guys are, yeah, you guys are teasing my brain. You know, it's like you know, I'm taking retrospections. You know, I can just imagine that all this have passed. That we are discussing issues in the past. Yeah, I'm thinking that we're discussing it now. And seeing Covego sitting right in the studio and discussing the issues. You know. But I see a lot of reflections. I see a lot of emotions from the side. Also, monitoring and watching what have already passed, and now we are celebrating. We are celebrating a new time. We are celebrating a new dynamics. You know, everything have just gone to the past, but the records are still here, proving past through to reach to where we are. So I mean,
Wow, Abel gone muted.
Yeah, he's muted. Jerry, we gotta take one from the Bishop hour because you know, Willie is going to be leaving us shortly. So we're going to be here discussing the other aspects.
Okay.
So we can take one for the Bishop hour, at least one of the animated ones, one of the the interesting ones from the Bishop's hour. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Yes, absolutely. So we are going to take this one. Let me come here quick. We're gonna take this one.
Willie, are you there?
Okay. Willie is queuing. Yeah, I think he's queuing the one from the Bishop hour. Yeah. Yeah, but that was quite interesting. That generated so much interest, Jerry. The one on the the GS selection process.
And what I wanted to say about that, Joe, is that again, like I said, that is the essence of the platform. And what we actually do is to ensure that we bring up the issues and then we leave it to our viewers to really understand. We leave it to our viewers to really understand, you know, what is really, you know, going on, and then they can be able to assess and do their own analysis. Woody, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Yes, that's a very good possibility. We needed ideas from everyone. But let's make sure it is vibrant and groomed, and we know, I mean, my computer.
Bishop, we got a long list, but it looks like we got to shortcut this thing because we're getting signals that your battery running low, and it's so unfortunate that you are in the dark. And can you tell us why you're in the dark? What's the status of your residence? I mean, this is
well. Like I told you, if the computer goes out, I'll remain on the phone. I have to want to on the phone. The reason I'm in the dark, actually, like I said earlier, before the weekend.
Wow.
Okay, stop right there. But I think everybody knows exactly, you know. All right, let's go.
The reason is I'm using my phone and people are calling. Every time they call, then they will stop me. So just be patient. I will cut that off. But we don't have our generator is all of you, and then the financial people. Every other person don't live on this compound. I'm the only one living on the compound, so it's difficult to get to them right now. And our LEC chief ran all the money, and so I'm here. But I'm sure we'll resolve that tomorrow. But if the computer goes off, I'm still on the phone, and the phone is not running out of, so you can still talk. We can talk on the phone. Yes.
So, Reverend, our Lord Bishop, I know fully well that you want to be modest, and that is the reason why you say, but we can talk about that some other time. But it is the ideal time for us to talk about it, so other people can be able to listen to already begin to see the challenges. Because as still,
I can tell you, the first thing is that we don't have even the funding to run a generator adequately. We don't. It's difficult. I don't let them say this season, but we have.
Jerry, you just got it from you just made the bishop to say what he needed to say.
Joe,
I know you want to be modest. I know he was economical with the words, but you managed to get it out of the bishop's mouth. He said we don't even have money in the first place to service the generator.
and you remember, Joe?
Create great
You remember,
memories.
Joe? There when we got the entire dossier coming back at us, and then it was very combative. You know,
Yeah.
the platform was there to castigate or intended to castigate people, and then we then started to be accused, but instead it came from the house's mouth. The bishop himself was on the set. He said what he said. The only thing we did was our job to ask him questions, and he said what he said. We didn't tell him to say it, but then we got accused. You remember?
Absolutely. Eben, are you there? Eben has your internet. Can you come in? Looks like Eva is frozen still. But yes, Jerry, you struck the point, and that's exactly the point. We got barrage of messages coming, people making a lot of comments accusing us, you know, of not being fair. But I thought that was quite unfortunate because the platform is open. Everyone has the opportunity. We accommodate everyone. Once you are Lutheran and you have something positive to contribute or something that you have that the church needs to know about that is critical, you know, to the growth and development of the church, this platform is ready to receive you at any time. And, you know, but I mean, we were able to sharpen the contradictions, Jerry. I think that was the good part. We were able to come out clear in terms of our policies and where we stand on the issue. The bishop came out, the bishop made his statement about what he inherited and what was going on in terms of the challenges they started experiencing from the very start. Yeah, so that didn't come from us. We created the platform, and that's why we are here, you know, as a trigger to development in the church, to reconciliation, to unity in the church. And that's what we'll continue to do. We're committed to doing. So we're doing just that. And you know, Jerry, that also reminds me about the letter that the copy of the letter that we received from the former bishop. You know, I thought it was. I just want firstly to say categorically that is quite unfortunate. That letter is I think the only letter we are bringing over from 2022 right into 2023, because we want to be having a special section to discuss that letter, because our network is also accusing that letter of not doing due diligence, or of not being fair. You know, the bishop was very specific about that. He named us in our communication, although there's a host of things that we have to review, some of which we believe were said emotionally, for the lack of better words, you know. So, but I think that's the only communication we're bringing over from 2022 into 2023 that we'll be having a special session to discuss.
Yeah, I think that is connected to, in fact, this entire issue that we are talking about. The one that has to do with the bishop's own statement, and there where the allegation of the platform started to come from, and then later on we started to see that letter from our bishop emeritus, you know, and also stating that we did not investigate well, and so some of the information we're putting out there were not factual. While it is true that we got our own reputation to protect, but we also feel morally obliged to protect the reputation of the institution, that is the Lutheran Connections. And I'm not too sure that the Lutheran Connection, and there's one thing that we want to say so that our viewers and our brethren in Christ can understand that this is all geared towards the developmental aspect of the church. My Lutheran Connection network was established, online TV was established, not because we want to be condescending, not because we want to come and castigate people, but because we want to uplift the church. And in uplifting the church and in showing that the church move on the right trajectory, we got to call a spade a spade. And that is the reason why we're going beyond emotions to dig out the facts. And I was just flabbergasted when I saw that letter accusing us for the fact that we did not say most of the things that the bishop wrote in his communication. It was said by guests that we invited. You understand? So to say that we didn't do we didn't do due diligence, if I should put it that way, in getting the facts, that was quite unfortunate. But again, as I said, the platform is there for everybody. We hope that in 2023, everybody will be able to take advantage of the opportunity given to them so that they can be able to come and sit with us so that we can be able to talk about the development of the church. It's just us as Lutheran that can be able to develop our own church, and nobody will do it for us, especially the national church. Joe, our history. We have evolved, and things are changing, and it is about us.
Right.
Must be able to make those kind of necessary changes.
Right.
And so I hope that the Bishop Emeritus listening to us, or maybe subsequently will hear the replay of the podcast, will unveil himself, will make himself available so that he can be able to come. So we discuss many other issues as it relates to the development of the church, and going forward. I mean, so they know that the platform is there for all of us. It's not us. That's why the fact we created, but it's not for us. It's for the Lutheran Church in Liberia. And then all of us take advantage of it to see how we can sit and discuss. Yeah.
Communication is crucial in any developmental process. In the life of any organization, communication is prime. So you can't just ignore that. And when we established the network, colleagues, you can recall that we had a good bit of time. The former leadership still had a good bit of time, to be able to come here regularly and be able to provide more information to Lutherans, because it's their right. They need to be informed. They need to be updated about the activities of their leadership. This is a modern era, a 21st century era where, we have technology, and I mean, spontaneously, you can just communicate. You got so many platforms. You have access, unlimited. You are able to engage with people, one of which is this platform. We provided our opportunity to the former leadership. So many times we reach out to them to be able to come here, even the last days of their leadership, to be able to update Lutherans about things they did, the works they did. Not everything was negative. Even in some of the positive things that they did, they had an opportunity to come here to talk about it. But people chose not to do that, and then at the end of the day, they did not have the ability to distinguish between our role as a network and comments that our guests make on the show. So they just mix everything up in different communications, because the bishop letter is not just the only communication. There are a number of communications that emerge prior to the bishop communication coming. But the interesting thing is that all those communications that emerge before the bishops, those communications, their contents are linked directly to the contents of the bishop's communication. You don't have any significant difference in the things that were mentioned in those communications. And quite surprisingly, even the publication from the Daily Observer newspaper, if you try to compare the content of that publication with those communications that are earlier, plus the bishop's communication, you will see that they are in tandem. So that's a concern. The fact that people know the reality, but they chose not to distinguish between our role as a network, giving people access, giving people a voice, and being so open in our discussion and that of the comments of individuals who appear on the show, individuals and institutions that appear on the show. That's quite unfortunate, and that is why, to be able to properly sharpen the contradictions in the former bishop's letter, we are going to take off some time in the weeks to come to be able to x-ray that letter here. We will discuss it sufficiently on this show. But in so doing, we will also be bringing the chair of the transitional committee. Jerry, I don't know whether or not the chair the committee was dissolved, the transitional committee, you know, that's one of the sticky part, because he needs to come to talk to us about what really happened. Because they receive a report, a turnover report from the former leadership. And if they accepted the report, then why there is noise around the place? Why all the noises about Bishop residence, you know, about assets and everything? So we're going to host the chair of the transitional committee. He has to come here and sit with us. That's one of the initial conversations we're going to have, to tell us how it actually happened. If the Bishop residence was, you know, reviewed, it was assessed, it was evaluated and accepted, then why all of the complaints? Otherwise, what went wrong in the process? Because that's critical. He needs to come and tell Lutherans about that. All of the assets that people talking about today that the church lacks, and whether or not it's even true that people were leaving offices to take some of the office equipment that don't belong to individuals. He has to come to talk about some of those things here. We, you know, Lutherans want to know what actually happened, because we can't just cry wolf, 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 wolf. You know, there has to be substantive receipts to those cries. So why you're crying? So we're definitely going to have the chair here, Jerry. I think we have the communication drafted to the chair of the transitional team, Brother Alexander Gago. He has accepted to appear, but we have to make it formal. Yeah. So Jerry, yes, that's the dimension also I wanted to interject.
Yeah, and I think it's in line with our next topic as it relates to the year in review.
Yeah, just a few picks.
Okay, good.
Right.
Ibe, I thought
you
were frozen. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. I was just saying just a few picks from what you previously discussed regarding the issue of Martin Luther connections and the whole issue of communication. You know, Joe, communications is very important. But I see that there was some fundamental misbelief from the very initial stage on the parts of some people thinking that Martin Luther connections were actually set up just maybe to propagate or to promote a particular candidate within the gun bishopric rate, but that wasn't the case. I think our intention was actually good. We wanted to bring to bear information, dissemination, development, and agenda happenings within the Lutheran Church in Liberia, prospects that have been made, and challenges that are still stand up. But people actually misunderstood us. But I think this is perfect opportunity now for even the past leadership. I think they still have the opportunity to come back on this platform to explain to the Lutheran communities as to relating to some of the things that actually happen that kind of are sparking up right now. They still have opportunity to explain that. There's a place where we can have a friendly discussions. There's a place where people can talk about their challenges. People can talk about progress they've made. People can talk about issues that actually affect them. So I personally would be happy if the Bishop Emeritus chose or accept to come on this platform, maybe to just explain to Lutherans some of the things that happen instead of maybe just accusing my Lutheran connection. For us, we are here to promote. Like I was very impressed just in the line has a website. Gentlemen, you will not know that, but I think the Lutheran Connection is now under information arm. We are also quote unquote advocacy group. So we advocate for a website, and trust me, I think that project was initiated by the past leadership, and today the workshop, the website of the Lutheran Church in Liberia, you're going to see a very designed, a very beautiful website. And on that website, there all of the programs, all of the departments and auxiliaries, they got information on all of those auxiliaries and departments. I think that's one thing that we need to spark up. That's the outcome of our advocacy from the past year, moving into 2023, that the Lutheran Church now has a website. So if you want to know more information about the Lutheran Church in Liberia, I mean, just browse in Lutheran Church in Liberia, you'll be able to tap into information when it comes to the women, the men, and the youth departments, when it comes to various institutions like the Corey Lutheran Hospital, the Phoebe hospitals, programs, the projects like the trauma healing, HIV, and the rest of that. These informations are now up. And that's exactly what we are here to do. We always want to dig up. We want to provoke so that we be able to tap into some of the developmental initiatives. I not been for my Lutheran connections, I guess. Consistency because of our advocacy. That's the reasons why some of these things have started happening. So, I mean, this is a very good platform. It's not fair enough for people to begin accusing. The best thing you can do is to come so that we sit face to face around the table and discuss the issues. And whenever we discuss the issues, we all can kind of collegially improve, the development of this church. And that is the primary reason for which my Lutheran connections were actually set up. So Joel and Jerry, thank you very much for bringing those past events back to the forefront. But we can further discuss the Bishop Emeritus letter as we move forward into 2023.
Right.
Yeah,
We will
thank you.
definitely take up time. Yeah, Jerry.
Before Abel came in, as you were saying, I also want to concur with Abel that people should not misconstrue our roles and responsibility, and we will say it continuously with time in numbers, so that people understand that we are here for everything positive about the Lutheran Church in Liberia. How be that? It was good that we got the communication drafted to be sent to the transitional team, the chairman of the transitional team, so that we can be able to have conversation around what really went wrong and what was happening and what where we are now and where we hope to go in the future. I mean, these are things that we need to take into consideration because for example, it's the house we're talking about that the bishop should move in. It said on a renovation, has it been renovated? What's happened to it? Tenant was in there. Have they moved? Because I remember the GS Emeritus shared with us some documentation. I mean, that was also shared with the convention and member of the EC Executive Council. And within it, said that members of the transitional team look at all of these properties. They agreed. In fact, the bishop and colleagues who were also on that transitional team went to the property, I think on 11 or 12th Street, and they saw it, and nobody made comment. So why would they want to make comment at this time? So it's good that we hear the other side, because to every story, people say there are three sides,
Yeah,
so we want to make sure that we hear all sides and bring all parties on board so that we can be able to get the information right. But it also dovetails into the asset verification process, which is the next topic that we should be going into.
Right.
Yeah. I think that it is important that the asset verification process continue. But it is also important that we allow them to come on to see if they could be able to tell us what's happened so far. We may not anticipate the details or all of the intricacy of what has happened, but at least to give summary of the process. Maybe beginning with the TOR, their own TOR, the scope, because
Absolutely.
you know that we have some legal luminaries, including Councillor Jerome B. Collier and a financial expert, Joe, you know him, and I think you conducted that show. Joe Roberts, you conducted that show very well. You Woody, and I think Abel was on set because I didn't participate at that time. But I listened to the replay and I really understood that it lays some fundamental points, beginning with Joe Roberts, who was clear that, look, this is just very good for the incoming administration, so that they know what they're inheriting, and then they know how they can be able to start getting their feet wet. For the legal luminary, Councillor Collier, he was looking at processes. He was looking at the issue of the scope that this committee will have, and he was looking at the fact that the committee, may not be a firm that got the core competence to do the assets verification, and so he was concerned of what would be the legal ramification that may come up. And then obviously we started to see some indication from the current treasurer in a communication that was written after, I think, the committee was just asking her presence so that they can be able so she could be able to facilitate the process in getting an office space and all that kind of thing. And we saw communications coming from her law firm. I mean, that she hired on her behalf. And they were talking about the very issue that Councillor Collier were talking about. Number one, that this committee set up does not have the core competent to go through the kind of tax they want to undertake, and all of those things.
Right there. I wanted to jump in right there, Jerry.
Yeah.
I think Councillor Collier was not really doubtful about the competence of the committee, but I think he was offering a piece of advice that is good for you to hire an institution rather than putting a group of individuals together to do it. If it is done by an institution, yes, that can be able, to authenticate what was done before. But you see, Councillor Collier, piece of advice be meaningful if at all it is an audit that is being conducted. But if it's just a verification where audit was done before and a group of people are asked to verify what was done, I don't know. I'm not a legal-minded person. I'm not a legal luminary, but I don't know if that would require also having an institution to do that. That group of individuals who have the qualification cannot do that. That's a tricky thing. And that's why I agree with you that the verification team has to come here to be able to inform Lutherans about the TOR that they have, whether or not they are conducting an audit or they are only verifying our assets and including financial resources in terms of what has happened.
And maybe to further expand, to tell us, maybe we may not get it right, but to tell us what a verification and audit are synonymous, so that we can be able to understand. And that is the reason why, and we need a TOR so that we can be able to understand the scope, Joe. And I also wanted to say that it is important, for the verification committee to come out. We know that they're doing a piece of professional work, but to also be able to inform Lutherans, because many Lutherans around the world, they were very concerned about some of the revelations. You understand?
Yeah, absolutely.
And many of them agree with the platform when we suggested, and later on the current bishop, and many other persons say, yes, we need to verify. We need to verify, for example, our land. We need to verify, for example, some of the properties we have. So we need to also know, not only we also need to know the scope of the verification committee, and are they taking on a lot of things that they are not able to chew, or what's the delimitation and limitation, so we can be able to understand all of these issues. And then when the report come out, then the report will be sent to the bishop who commissioned, the bishop in the EC that commissioned this identical verification process. And if the bishop chose it, he then will be able to say, look, let me just publish the report of we can dot some of the report and publish some to the public so that they know. But I think the issue of accountability and transparency, it behooves this current bishop, to ensure, because he continued on that line. He told us on this platform that we should not only say, Bishop, look, you can do this, but we should also help him and give him pieces of advice. So we want to remind him.
Every Lutheran.
On this platform, he told us that transparency will be his hallmark. And he started by saying just everything to the public so they understand. When he said that, look, I inherited a leak bucket.
Yes.
The water just going in and coming out. Nothing there. We listened to him when he said, look, we don't even have the financial means to even service the generator. These were part of the transparency that we're talking about. Now, the verification, the asset verification process is on. The committee will need to come on and say where they are. Yeah. And when the report is being given, the bishop, even if that the detail but the dotted part of the report, we need to see he can share with the public so that Lutherans now, so that they can be able to understand, look, this is how far the committee went and these are the issues. Because it is very crucial that this verification and access committee come out with the report in time. The very first thing we want to know, how long is it going to take them? Is it going to be 1 year period? Is it going to be 6 month period? Is it going to be 3 months period? We need to know.
In short, Jerry, we want to know the scope and nature of the whole asset verification exercise. So that will include how long it's going to take them, the time frame. That will also include the competence of the committee, because that's a critical concern here. They need to tell us, the backgrounds of the committee members, because that will inform the public as to whether or not the committee has the competence to do the work that it's supposed to do. I know that there are some legal people on our committee, and there are some financial experts on our committee or managers on our committee. So they need to come here to say it better than we can do, because we don't know. So they need to come here and speak for themselves. They need to come and speak for the committee. Those are fundamental information that the public needs, that Lutherans need. And those are not things that people should shy away from because you have a professional piece of job to do. What even legitimizes the professional piece of job to do is for the public to know that you have the core competency to do that professional piece of job. So you need to come here and then be able to explain all of these details to the people. We're not telling you what you have uncovered so far. You should come and tell us. Don't tell us you have uncovered millions that were stolen or stashed away. No, that's not what we're talking about. We just want you to come and tell us about the process. How are you going to conduct this process? Who is conducting the process? When will the process be conducted? When will it be concluded? How will the report be structured? Will you have recommendations that will be made to the leadership for the leadership to be able to take action? So these are the basic information that the committee needs to come and provide to the public. So we are hoping that when they receive our invitation, which we have also drafted, that they will be able to respond favorably so that they can appear. We are hoping to have the chair of the transitional committee here the coming Sunday, Jerry. That's what our letter says. And then the following Sunday, we are hoping to have the verification committee. That's what the invitation letter says as well. So it is our ardent hope that, the chair of the transitional committee will accept our invitation to come and sit with us. And then the verification committee will also designate some of its committee members to come here and sit with us and provide these essential information to Lutherans. Lutherans want to know about this process, and this is crucial as far as the list of the bishop is concerned. It's top on his list, transparency. He emphasized it here. You listen to Jerry. Jerry told you that's what the bishop said over and over. It's transparency, 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 transparency. And part of it, and what has moved people much, is the fact that the bishop even has a specific time that he comes here and sits here with us and be able to update the public about what's happening in the church. That has not happened in the history of our church before. And that's something that people appreciate. But people are also looking forward to him, realizing his promise of ensuring accountability in the church. This is what we need. And I think that's part of the confusion. I think it is also part of the fear of this verification process that we've been seeing all those communications flying all over the place. People accusing people left and right, of not being fair, of accommodating certain people and not accommodating certain people, which in effect is not true. That's a pure lie. We got to call it what it is. Absolutely. The bishop mentioned in his letter a lot of constitutional issues, that his successor is failing to follow, which of course we'll discuss at that particular time, but not the two coming Sundays. The two coming Sundays, we are hoping to have the transitional chair and have the verification committee. Probably following that, we identify a Sunday where we come and lay bare the bishop's emeritus communication. We will definitely discuss it in detail. But again, we just wanted to look back at the verification process, how it started. Jerry indicated very well. He said, that was one of the things that we took and ran with on our show because we thought it's in the best interest of the church. And I'm not sure we're wrong for that because a lot of things have happened in the church. This is not just money. This is also about other properties of the church. People don't know the measure of, assets that the church has, even human resource assets. How are we making use of the human resource assets in the church? We have professionals in the church. How are we tapping into those professions in the church to better our church? We don't know. The verification committee has to go there because that's asset. Has to go there to tell us exactly the measure of expertise we have in the church and how the leadership can tap into that expertise. Like Jerry said, we have lanes across the place, parishes, at preaching points. Do those properties belong to those parishes or preaching points? We don't know. Or does it belong to the national church? We don't know the actual ownership of those properties. We don't know.
Hey. If we continue, we'll be broadening the scope for the verification and access committee because so many things come into it. I know if they're listening, to say, but wait, I wanted to know our team before they're talking all of these things. so I think, but these are very good analysis, and I'm very sure that they'll be waiting and glad, looking at the way in which we have put it. They'll be waiting and glad to come and to just explain to us their scopes. You're talking about the W's and the H, what has happened, why they think they should do it. Do they have the core competence to do it? And where are they concentrating the focus? And how are they carrying on the process? And that's just all we want to know. We don't want to know.
Jerry, we got to set the stage. We got to set the stage for them, and we got to take away some of the fears based on past experience. Imagine if I talk about fundamental misunderstanding. I mean, when we started the show, people have fundamental misunderstanding about the show, that probably this show was set up to promote certain individuals and people shy away. So some of the prelates, some of the leaders in our church came on this show and said, oh, I'm comfortable, I can come now. But during the election, I'm going to come. We all ran away from the show. We all were scared to come on the show. So at least the verification committee, they have an opportunity. The verification committee has Sis Veliga, thank you. She said, we're enjoying you people. That's great. That's great, Sis Veliga. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody watching. I think the bishop also made a comment, but we want to make the verification committee comfortable. We're not telling them to come here to come and tell us, how much they have on cover, what are they going. Yeah, very good. This is the one, Jerry. You want to talk about that?
We also on the set want to say, Bishop, we wish you and yours a very happy and prosperous new year from the My Lutheran Connection family. And to all of our Lutherans around the world, we highly appreciate you people. And it's because of you people that we are here, making together. We are making the sacrifices for the church. And Joe, before we conclude our list of topics, I think we just got two more to conclude on the topics for the year in review. We will have to make sure that we remind all our kind supporters, especially very rarely stood by us in times of need when we came we came and called upon them to help us with the whole LTR project. This is something that we have, moved into 2023 with, because some people promise that they will be able to start remitting some funds.
And I think we started collecting also after the first remittance. We started collecting from some people.
So there's something that we want to digress a bit to just say thanks to all those who supported us. I showed that they were on set, and we were able to show the receipt, and we were able to give some amount to the treasurer, the LCL, and we are still collecting, and we're going to make sure as we collect and we remit, we will show the receipt. So we can see. We cannot be talking about transparency and we feel to be transparent. So definitely, if we are talking about, they say he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. So if we're talking about transparency, then we have to be transparent. But Joe, let's go to this issue of the financial malpractice. I think that was one of the hottest kick on the block in the close of 2022. What you make of that?
Jerry, you know, I will start by saying that when we discuss it for the first time and display the receipts, when I say receipts, the letters, the pieces of evidence, you know, supporting that, I got several calls, but two of the calls were from two prominent people in the church, and they asked me simple questions. They said, the other father said, my son, they think you're doing the problem you're bringing in the church. How you got that communication? I laughed until I couldn't laugh anymore. I just told him it's part of the work that we do. It's a network. It's a teamwork. We appear on the show, but there are so many people that are working behind the scenes, you know, who faces you guys don't see. And they take a lot of credit for the things that we present to you people. I sit here myself. I can tell you, Father, I only ask for what I want, and they go all out and look for it and make it available to me and my colleagues, you know. But so Joe, I just wanted,
have this case been closed? Where are we with it? It's good that we're bringing it in the 2022 year in review. Right. I hope that 2023, because we understood some people were taken to the police. Right. We understood that communication, you know, some of them said something relative to the entire issue.
Right. In the preliminary investigation, yes.
You are right. Investigation, yeah. Yes. But we really need to follow up on this so that we can be able to get to the bottom of it, to see how far we are. I hope they are not intending to say, okay, you know, this matter is church issue, so they do it the church way. Jesus himself, like I said the last time on the show, I said that boy, Comrade Jesus, he was somehow a very, very rude Peking. He said, why are you setting my father's horse? And he started whipping people also. And so that is to tell you that he doesn't tolerate this kind of malfeasance and, you know, and bad habits. And so I don't think that is the best way to solve a problem, by saying, you know, we are Christians, so we do it the Christian way. You know, because what happened was very unchristian. And I think I made a post the last time, and I said, we are not there to judge anybody when it comes to the issue of Christianity or the spirituality. Pastor Chris, I listened to him once, and he said that Christianity is not a religion, it's a relationship with God. And so everybody has their own relationship with their God, and they know how they interact. So the platform is not there to scare people or to you know, but notwithstanding, people must be able to understand you give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and you give to God what belongs to God. And so the justice system is there to ensure that when criminality goes on in a society, be it a church, be it a school, and all that kind of thing, it takes a course. And we should not sweep that under the carpet to say that, you know, we're in the church. That is the wrong notion. And these are some of the things that we say, and people come and say, oh, look, we want to accuse the Lutheran Connection, because sometimes they don't say it the Christian way. But there's no other way to say it, because let me tell you, I mean, Jesus was there, and
Jared, there is no Christian and secular way to say the man stole the money or the lady stole the money. There is no Christian or secular way to say it. When you stealing is stealing. You steal, you steal. And no way you can dress it. Yeah. So It's a critical point, and we need to know exactly the status of the case, because the case was no longer with the LCL. The case was at the police. So when you go to the police with such criminal case, what happens at the end of the day after preliminary investigation? They transfer, they charge them to court at the end of the day. So we need to know if they were charged to court or not. We need to know that. So definitely we will follow up on the case and be clear as to the status of the case. Yeah, that's something we have on our list, Jerry. Quite important. We can downplay that. We cannot downplay that. We have to know.
So I can already see how
will pick it up at some point, but we want to know already they were at the police what is happening now.
Yeah, I can already see that 2023 going to be very interesting, because we're already now starting to list and line up what we're beginning with. We're beginning with GAGU for the transitional process. Then we begin with the verification and asset committee to tell us where they are. Then we come up with the issue of the Bishop Emeritus letter, and we will try to dissect and diagnose that letter and maybe find some medication for the communication that are written after we find it. And then after that, then we go on now to this whole issue of where we are with this issue that have gone to the state. So it's the state versus the Lutheran Church, or the state versus so and so individual, and the Lutheran Church is just a witness to that entire process. So we want to follow up to see what happens to that, because people, you remember, mind you, Joe, when we were talking about the LTR stuff, a lot of people raised this issue. And they said, look, Bishop, that is the reason why we don't want to give. We don't like to contribute, because we struggle and we contribute, and somebody just pocketed 2,000, 3,000. You just take it in a pocket and you're not scared. You're not even scared to eat God money. So people say, well, that the money that's sweet to eat.
And I think that's the basis for ensuring accountability, because if you want to rekindle the relationship with partners who still have interest in supporting the work of the church, with individual Lutherans who still really love supporting the work of the church, you have to ensure the worth of their money that they contribute. When they give you their resources, they want you to account for those resources. So if people are just putting money somewhere and no results, like we would say, putting money in the hole, no one will continue to do that. Absolutely. So people have serious concerns about what's happening to their resources in the church. And this is a bit historical, because it's not just now. And people shouldn't think that it just all started with the past leadership. Lutherans have had this concern for a very long time. But the reason why this is coming up, because there's a trigger now. There's a trigger now. You never had a platform like this before to go back, and evaluate the work of leaders, people who are entrusted with different mandates, different responsibilities in the church, different project teams. People never had the opportunity for them to be X-rayed the way they are right now. So if, for example, we brought the education committee here, Jerry, which is the next thing we'll go to. I think the last thing we brought the education committee.
Sure, definitely.
The school system. Let me say the committee. The school system director, Reverend
Eric
Doe. We brought him here. So those are the kinds of things we're talking about. People who have responsibilities in the church. I mean, they just have free passes. The way they ran those projects, those programs, the only people they were accountable to were the leadership, the bishop and his team. Whatever report they present, nobody in the church at home and abroad had an idea what was going on in those projects. Absolutely. But the situation is different now. Now you have a public evaluation platform. You have this trigger. And our responsibility here is divine. Jerry, is divine. You and I did not just come up by ourselves to do it. This is a divine intervention. You guys must come up and establish a platform that will help to promote the growth and development of the church, that will help to promote reconciliation in the church, that will help to promote spiritual growth of the church, where there is satisfaction, where people are pleased and happy, are reconciled, are united. They will find more time and more reason to delve further into the scriptures, to have a spiritual understanding. They will be able to do that profoundly. But where there is dissatisfaction, there's this unity, there's unhappiness, people will not find that strength and that courage to be able to go into to start reading scriptures to do evangelism. People won't do that. They don't like each other. How do they even come together to evangelize? It's not
Joe,
possible.
I don't want to cut your thought, but I don't think it is also fair on the part of the church for us to have investigations that will be inconclusive.
Right.
And so there's one thing also that we still begging the indulgence of the verification committee to come out and tell us what the scope and what's the time limit, so that we can have this process. The whole issue of this, the financial malpractice also is to the police, and where is it now? And so people know, because we can't keep talking about processes and investigations and things and just inconclusive. You know, then people don't trust the process. Then people don't trust the system also. Then it becomes the same, you know, issue or is, you know, and people start to another issue that was raised by our sister here. I think she followed religiously. I think Joe, you spent some time on this. Talking about this radio station. I think it's the Luton FM. You know, it's a money issue and what have you, this thing. And you were in the thick and things of this thing, so you got better idea. So I think our sister Bien will want to know where we are on this process. So you could be able to give us some historicity, please.
And I will be able to provide some information on that. And not to undercut, because I have some privileged information giving my vantage position, not to undercut the work of the committee. The bishop did not waste time on this one. The bishop instituted a committee that has done some profound investigation on this. And I think their report is coming up as quickly as possible. Will be coming up very soon on this radio station issue. There was an account open under the Monrovia District leadership arrangement through which the radio station funds were deposited and was managed by those who had responsibility for that account. And they all have been able to face the committee. They all have been quizzed by the committee, and I think it's a healthy thing, Sis Vliga. The bishop did not waste time on this one, so a report will be coming up very soon on that, and I think people will be getting a full understanding of what actually transpired regarding the radio station project. Yeah.
All right. So that means, Sis Vliga, I think you got an answer in principle. So want to beg you.
I could go to say some things, to discuss some things, but you know, when you have a committee that has investigated and the report is pending, is about to come up, then you don't want to shortcut that process or to.
Oh yes. Oh no, definitely.
I was even talked to. I was even interviewed by the committee as well. You know, so.
Okay. But then I showed, because these are some of the issues too that people are looking at. And again, like you talk about divine intervention of the platform, you see Lutherans around the world. You see,
now they have the opportunity.
And these are the kind of opportunity now to ask the questions, to get the answers they're looking for, because before they could not get these kind of answers.
Right.
You understand? There were nowhere to ask. There was nobody to talk to.
Abel, you wanted to come in on that too? I see you on, Abel.
Abel, you wanted to say something about this radio station thing? Do you?
Abel,
you want to wait?
My internet is really bad off, but
it's okay. You can talk a little bit.
Okay, I think I got a last comment from Joe. You know, the whole radio station issues is a bit controversial. You know, Joe was chairperson of this committee, and I was also one of the members of the committee, and we did extremely well in setting out this whole process. Unfortunately, it did not go as per our plan, because there were a lot of external interruption, and we kind of no political will at the time to actually meet the consent of the committee. But notwithstanding, there are issues hanging out around finances. But Joe regularly said we need to be patient and wait until the committee can do a due diligence to the entire investigative process and come out with their reports. Maybe during that time, we will be in a better position to actually comment on this whole,
to discuss step by step.
Dilemma of the entire dilemma surrounding the entire radio station thing. Though we talked about it before, but we didn't go in details. But I think when the committee comes up with that report, we will be in a position to discuss in details. So basically, that's what I just wanted to comment on. And you guys were also talking about other issues about verification. You know, when people hear about audit, whenever audit is pronounced, a lot of people are in a kind of a scarce position. But audit is not bad. That was verification. To verify issues is almost like tracking your material resources, finances, and the rest of that. Power in verifying what the Lutheran Church has is in possession. We got a lot of assets across the country. We got land, as you rightly said,
Absolutely.
Jerry. If you went to Zaza, if you went to Totota, if you went to Belen, if you went all over the country, right here in Maceburg, I mean, there are property wasting everywhere, and people are even forgetting about where some of these assets are. And I always tell people, you know, we have a great asset. Land is a very great asset because land can appreciate, doesn't depreciate. A few more years from now, maybe 10, 15, 20 years, those land that have been abandoned by the Lutheran Church will be very, very attractive and very, very useful. And besides, we got a lot of human resources around. You got medical doctors everywhere. But are we tracking these medical doctors to ensure that they come and work in our health? You got people in different areas of aesthetics. Can we track these people? How much does the Lutheran Church has in terms of all of these things? How much money do we have? How is our programs? Is our program really laying up to their mandate to meet up with current persons who really strongly welcome the idea of verification thing? I think it's necessary that these people verify and come up with a comprehensive report. And when those reports come before us, then we'll be able to discuss, people will be able to add up, and that can even help in strategic decisions moving forward into the future, so that when we have a strategic plan kind of initiatives, the verification report will inform that strategic group as to what they need to do. So I want to commend the bishop and the leadership for this very good initiative. We want for people to see this in a very good fit, not to see as an old Lutheran thing, or not to see as a labyrinth thing where whenever things come up, people try to politicize everything that comes up. This is not about politics. I think it's a new way of thinking forward, and a lot is happening in our church. And until we speak on these issues, and that's one reason why my Lutheran Connections has been very instrumental, very, very instrumental and very provocative in sparking up some of these issues so that we talk about them. And whenever we bring that out, trust me, it's like a trench car. People are following it to make sure that things actually come to reality. Look at the text we just saw from our sister, Bian. Bian is remembering that there is outstanding issues.
Right.
That got to do with the radio station's money. That's their money. That's their effort, their resources. And if we are to have an independent and a variable media,
Ibe, I'm sorry, I have to do this. I have to do this. Ibe, I have to do this. I need to jump in here.
Accountability is very much important, so that the next time we're about to kind of raise up.
Joe, go ahead.
Ibe? Oh, okay. Yeah, so I just wanted to add to what Abel was saying, about the accountability aspect and Veliga's concern. And you wouldn't imagine when I spoke with the committee, some of the things that the committee brought up, Jerry and Abel, about the activities that some of the radio station money was a plateau, by those who were in charge of the account. But that is not in my place to say. That is for the committee to present in their report, which will be going.
I hope you also got a letter drafted for the committee to also appear.
The committee will also come to talk about that when they publish their report. I think they will be comfortable in a better position to come. We will also bring them to come and talk about it. Right. So I just wanted to say that with those undertakings, those fundamental steps by the current leadership, I think they are genuine about, people will say it's early, but that's an indication of some degree of genuineness about, this whole accountability issue. I think people really want to track these things. How did they happen, where they are, and how did they affect the church, and why we need now to change gear going forward for the betterment of the church. I just wanted to zero in on that, Jerry. That's very critical. And Lutherans now they can call you Jerry, they can call me, call Abel, call Willie, call Kopo. Sis Kopo, you are there at Camp KP. We want to say, I hope you enjoying the program, because we know you guys are following, at the camp, but we miss you today. And
yes,
and
happy
New Year to you.
I see them following, yeah.
Yeah, happy New Year to you. So basically, Jerry, that is it. And I think we'll be drawing down the curtains here. So I'd like to get over to you.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks again to you, Willie, Abel, despite the fact he just dropped off because of bad internet connectivity. But we want to say to our viewers, thank you and happy New Year. And 2023 going to be very exciting. 2023 going to be very inspirational, and it's going to be good. We want to say thank you, and we'll be knocking on your doors so that you can continue to live up to the commitment that you have made already on the LTR. This is our baby. We want to ensure that we continue with that. We also need to bring back our partners from Aliyah, so we can talk about the Lutheran University. And these are Dr. How do you call him? Dennis, Dr. Dennis and his team, they are very excited about this, and we try to see how we can be able to get these things done in 2023. At least let us show in 2023 that, look, we started like this, and this is now the result of what we started with since 2022 into 2023. So, folks, from my end, I want to say goodbye, and I hope that you are having a very, very, very wonderful time. Joe?
Yeah, Jared, thank you. You said it all, but only that I wanted to add to remind the bishop that in addition to the bishop hour, we are going to be bringing excerpts from his sermons that he's going to be preaching on the show. Jared will talk about it last year before the close of the year. I think it was 1 or 2 months before the close of the year. We're going to be bringing excerpts from his sermons, from his messages, and those of other pastors. Across the country. We're working on that, how to go about it. Just make sure we get clips, the key aspects of the messages, to be able to screen for our viewers, people who are outside Liberia and other parts of Liberia who don't attend those services. We have the opportunity to know what was preached to them. We also benefit from the messages. So I just wanted to add that, to say that a lot of improvements will be taking place, a lot of enhancements will be taking place on the platform for 2023. We want you to watch out, like Jerry said. Jerry, in Jerry's own words, he said, quote, fiery is going to be fiery 2023. Yeah, we already started lining up everything. So you need to fasten your seatbelts and get ready for 2023. Thank you. We'll see you next Sunday.
Thank you so much.
Right. Yeah.